Tolu was a very beautiful and slender lady with brown skin and a penchant for rocking her natural hair, which she styled with pride and elegance. Living with her parents, she had been searching for a job for what seemed like eternity. Almost 2 years, longing for a position that could afford her the life she had always dreamed of. Finally, her perseverance paid off as she landed a big job. The joy she felt was indescribable. Her parents shared in her happiness, relieved that she could now contribute to the household and assist in sending at least one of her younger siblings to school. Tolu was not just beautiful, she was also prudent, careful with her money, and avoided spending recklessly. This trait set her apart from her friend Shade, who was known for her lavish lifestyle. Shade always dressed to impress, wearing beautiful clothes she would only don once before moving on to the next latest trend. Most of Tolu's luxury outfits were gifts from Shade, as they were about the same size. But Tolu always yearned to know what it felt like to spend her own money without having to beg or depend on others. Shade often teased Tolu about her frugality.
"You're dressed by how you dress,"
Shade would say, draped to the latest fashion.
"How will he ever get to marry a rich man if you don't look good and go to the right places?"
When Tolu broke the news of landing the job everyone had been trying to get, Shade was thrilled for her. "At last, now you can spend your money the way you want," she said, imagining her friend finally joining her in the finer things in life. But Tolu ever practically reminded Shade of her responsibility. "The major responsibility of taking care of my siblings has fallen on my shoulders now," she said. Not wanting to appear selfish, Shade gave her some advice.
"Just make sure you dress well to work. You wouldn't want to lose your job to someone else or miss out on a promotion because you don't stand out."
Tolu took Shade's advice to heart. She began her job with determination and set a clear goal to stay out of trouble. She knew how difficult it had been to secure this position and couldn't afford to lose it. From the moment she received her appointment letter, which outlined the do's and don'ts of the job, Tolu made a promise to herself to excel. She was diligent and dedicated, never complaining about the workload. Her skill and work ethics did not go unnoticed. She was frequently commended for her professionalism and the way she handled tasks at the office. Her hard work was not just personal satisfaction, it had tangible results thanks to her job. Her brother Shehu was able to start school, which brought immense relief and joy to her parents. It was as if a heavy weight has been lifted off their shoulders. Despite her professional success, Tolu couldn't escape the societal pressure of being the firstborn and already due to get married. Many of her peers had settled down, and there was a growing sense of urgency among her family members. One beautiful afternoon, Shade came running to Tolu, practically glowing with excitement. She hugged her friend tightly and showed her a sparkling ring on her finger. "I'm engaged!" she exclaimed, her joy infectious. Tolu was genuinely happy for her friend, and they both jumped up and down celebrating the good news. They decided to go out and celebrate properly, sharing in the excitement of this new chapter in Shade's life. As they celebrated, Shade confided in Tolu that the wedding preparations would start soon and that she would need Tolu's help and input. Tolu promised to be there every step of the way, reminding Shade that that's what friends were for. The wedding preparations kicked off in full swing, the two friends spending weekends shopping for everything they needed: clothes, shoes, purse, and more. When it came to jewelry, they stumbled upon a store owned by a woman known as Madame Gold. Madame Gold was a well-known figure in the city, a plump woman who was renowned for sourcing the best jewelry. It was said that there was no jewelry on earth that couldn't be found in her shop, as long as she had enough money to pay for it. Madame Gold's shop was always crowded, with impatient buyers struggling to get their hands on the latest design. It was almost as if they were obsessed with the jewelry, desperate to spend their money on her exquisite pieces. Shade, determined to have the best for her wedding, insisted on buying her bridal jewel from Madame Gold. Despite Tolu's suggestion that they should check other shops with fewer crowds, when they finally got to their turn, Madame Gold greeted them with a knowing smile.
"I smell a wedding in the air,"
she said, her eyes twinkling as she brought out several stunning bridal sets. Sade was instantly captivated and quickly made her choice. Madame Gold told her the price, and without hesitation, Sade paid, satisfied that she had chosen the perfect set for her big day. Turning to Tolu, Madame Gold asked,
"And what about you, my dear? Surely you'd want something special as well."
Tolu admired the jewel, but knew she couldn't afford to spend that much money. "Not today," she replied politely, hoping to avoid further temptations, but Madame Gold was persistent. She offered Tolu several beautiful pieces, even more dazzling than the last. She even suggested a part payment plan, but Tolu stood firm.
"If I can't afford to pay for it out of my salary all at once, then it isn't worth spending on,"
she said. Madame Gold's smile faded slightly, and her demeanor shifted. She withdrew the jewelry she had shown Tolu and packed up Sade's purchase with a polite but distant attitude. Tolu noticed the strange look Madame Gold gave her as they left the shop, a look that sent a shiver down her spine. Once outside, Sade asked Tolu
Why she hadn't bought any jewelry? I thought we agreed to do that today.
she said, puzzled. Not wanting to admit that the prices were too high for her, Tolu made an excuse.
"I haven't been paid yet. Once I get my money, I'll come back and buy something,"
she said, trying to reassure her friend. Sade seemed satisfied with the explanation, but then asked.
You buy from Madame Gold, right?
Tolu didn't respond. Instead, she asked,
"Did you notice anything strange about that woman? She was acting a bit cold."
Sade pushed it off.
You're overthinking things. Everything will be fine.
That night, after discussing the day with her parents, Tolu went to bed. But her sleep was anything but peaceful. In her dream, she kept seeing Madame Gold in every scene, her hot gaze fixed on her with a burning intensity. Tolu woke up with a strange, scared feeling that she couldn't shake. She had never experienced anything like it before.
What could be going on?
She tried to brush it off, telling herself that it was just because she had been thinking about it before she slept. Maybe that was why she was having a bad dream. As the days passed, Tolu and Sade continued with the wedding preparation. But something was different. Sade started acting strange, almost as if she had developed an obsession with jewelry. She talked constantly about needing to change all her jewelry because she was about to become a new wife and needed enough pieces to wear for every occasion. It was as if nothing else mattered to her. Tolu tried to advise her friend, telling her that she was spending too much money on jewelry and neglecting other important aspects of the wedding. But Sade was lost in her own world, her obsession growing stronger with each passing day. Even Kola, Sade's fiancé, noticed the change. He called Tolu, his voice filled with concern.
"Tolu, I don't know what's going on with Sade. All she talks about is buying new jewelry. She's not even focused on the wedding anymore. Can you please talk to her?"
Tolu reassured Kola that she would try to talk some sense into Sade, but every time she did, it seemed to fall on deaf ears. Sade continued to visit Madame Gold's shop, buying more and more jewelry each time, returning with that strange look on her face. One day, Tolu met up with an old friend, Kehinde, and they decided to catch up over drinks. As they talked about life and the upcoming wedding, Tolu confided in Kehinde that Sade's strange behavior.
"It's like she's a different person,"
Tolu said, shaking her head.
"Ever since we went to buy her bridal jewelry from Madame Gold, she's been acting obsessed."
Kehinde listened intently, her expression serious.
There's something strange about that woman, Madame Gold,
She said cautiously.
I've heard stories about her. People say there's more to her than meets the eyes.
Tolu's heart skipped a beat.
"What do you mean?"
I'm not sure, Kehinde admitted, but I've heard that she deals in things beyond just selling jewelry. There are rumors that her jewelry has certain powers. Tolu felt a chill run down her spine.
"Powers? What kind of powers?"
Kehinde leaned in closer.
They say that once you buy jewelry from Madame Good, it's almost like you're bound to her. People become obsessed, just like Shade. They can't stop buying from her, and it starts to take over their lives.
Tolu stared at Kehinde, trying to process what she was hearing.
That's exactly what's happening to Shade,
She whispered.
She's completely obsessed.
Kehinde nodded.
I thought it might be just something like that. I've heard of people going into debt, losing everything, because they couldn't stop buying from her. It's like a curse.
Tolu felt a sense of dread wash over her.
What can we do?
Kehinde took a deep breath.
We need to figure out how to break the curse. I'll do some research and see what I can find. In the meantime, try to keep Shadi away from Madame Gold's show. If you don't do something soon, she would end up losing everything.
Tolu nodded, feeling a newfound determination. She couldn't let her friend fall victim to whatever dark powers Madame Gold wielded. She would do whatever it took to save her. Tolu tried to keep Shade occupied with other wedding preparations, hoping to distract her from her obsession with jewelry, but it was no use. Shade was determined to buy more, even going behind Tolu's back to visit Madame Gold's show. One evening, Kola called Tolu again, his voice filled with despair.
I don't know what to do, Tolu. Shadi is getting worse. She's talking about buying jewelry for her mother now, even though we haven't even finished paying for the wedding.
Tolu's heart sank. She knew they were running out of time.
Don't give her any money for now.
She advised, we need to get to the bottom of this. I'm meeting with Kehinde soon. Hopefully, she will have some answers. Kola was even at the brink of breaking off the marriage, as he can't have someone like that as a wife, and Tolu knew that something had to be done. One afternoon, gathering her courage, Tolu visited Madame Gold's shop unannounced. The shop was as bustling as ever, customers eager to adorn themselves with the latest pieces. Tolu approached Madame Gold, who was engrossed in assisting a customer.
Madame Gold, I need to talk to you.
Tolu began, her voice steady, but laced with underlying tension. Madame Gold looked up, her expression unreadable.
Of course, dear. How can I help you?
Tolu took a deep breath.
I'm worried about my friend Shadi. Since she started buying from you, she has become obsessed with jewelry, to the point where it's affecting her relationship and responsibilities.
Madame Gold's eyes narrowed slightly, a flicker of something dark passing through them.
Obsession is a powerful thing.
She must.
Sometimes people need a little push to embrace their true selves.
Tolu felt a chill run down her spine. This isn't healthy. I need you to help her regain control. Madame Gold's smile was cold, almost sinister.
I assure you, I'm merely helping your friend find beauty and joy in her life. Perhaps she just needs more time to explore her desires.
Tolu, sensing the hostility beneath the surface, decided to leave before the conversation could escalate further. As she walked out of the shop, Madame Gold's gaze followed her, filled with an intensity that left Tolu unnerved. That night, Tolu couldn't shake the images from her disturbing dreams. Madame Gold's presence loomed over her, an unrelenting force that left her waking up in a cold sweat. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Tolu confided in her parents about her unsettling experience. They listened with concern, offering words of comfort, but unsure of how to help. Tolu couldn't even concentrate much at her place of work, and it was beginning to tell on her, as she has had sleepless nights about her friend. She had to go meet the Human Resource Department and ask for a week leave, that she will be back. She just needs to clear her head first. She has told her parents about what she was going through, and she was certain that what was happening to her surrounded Madame Gold. She has sought for suggestions and solutions from so many people, but can't seem to get a solution to the problem. One day, Kehinde called Tolu with urgency in her voice.
I found something. We need to meet up.
They arranged to meet at a quiet cafe, and when Tolu arrived, she found Kehinde already waiting with a serious look on her face.
Kehinde, what did you find?
Tolu asked, taking a seat across from her friend. Kehinde wasted no time.
I spoke to someone who might have some answers. a young man named Bola.
He had a sister who went through something similar to what Shade is experiencing. Tolu listened intently as Kehinde recounted Bola's story. His sister, like Shade, had become obsessed with buying jewelry from Madame Gold. She spent all her money on it, neglecting everything else in her life. She eventually fell into debt. Tragically, while trying to escape her creditors, she was hit by a car and killed. Bola said that after his sister died, he started having nightmares about Madame Gold. Kehinde continued. He tried to confront her, but every time he got close, something happened to stop him. He even tried following her one night, and what he saw convinced him that she's involved in something supernatural. Tolu's heart raced as Kehinde shared Bola's experience. What did he see? Well, he said he would tell us, but when he meets with us. But that he's convinced she's not just an ordinary jeweler. Tolu felt a chill run down her spine. Everything she had experienced, the strange behavior of Shade, the nightmares, and now this, seemed to point to something dark and sinister. But how could they fight something like this? We need to talk to Bola, Tolu said, her voice trembling. Maybe he can help us figure out what to do. Kehinde nodded in agreement. I'll set up a meeting with him. But Tolu, we need to be careful. Whatever this is, it's dangerous. That night, Tolu couldn't sleep. Her thoughts were consumed by everything Kehinde had told her. The next day, she arranged to meet Bola and Kehinde. When they met, Bola looked weary, as if the burden of his sister's death still weighed heavily on him. I'm sorry about your sister, Tolu said softly, feeling a deep sense of empathy for him. Bola nodded, his expression somber. Thank you. It's been hard, but I've been trying to move on. Tolu explained Shade's situation and Bola listened intently. When she finished, he sighed deeply. It sounds exactly like what happened to my sister. Once she started buying from Madame Gold, it was like she was under a spell. She couldn't stop no matter how much I tried to talk to her. She was obsessed. Tolu's heart ached for Shade. We need to help her, Bola. Please, if you know anything that can stop this, tell us. Bola hesitated for a moment, then nodded. There is something I haven't told anyone. After my sister died, I tried to find out more about Madame Gold. I followed her one night, and when I saw something that terrified me, Tolu leaned closer, hanging on his every word. What did you see? Bola's voice dropped to a whisper. I saw her leave her house late at night, carrying a large bag. She walked towards the market, and when I tried to follow her, she just disappeared. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone. Tolu felt a shiver run down her spine. Did you ever find out where she went? Bola shook his head. No, but I'm convinced she's involved in something supernatural. I don't know how to fight it, but I'll help you however I can. Tolu and Kehinde exchanged worried glances. They were dealing with something far beyond their understanding, but they couldn't give up. Shade's life was at stake.
We need to find a way to break the curse,
Tolu said, determination filling her voice.
We can't let her destroy Shade's life.
Bola nodded in agreement. I'll do whatever I can to help. Tolu wanted to see for herself, as she could not comprehend what was happening with her friend. That night, she prepared herself, told her parents she was going to see someone, and left. When she arrived at Madame Gold's house, she camped outside, waiting for her to come out. That would allow her to move unnoticed. She stayed very close to a shank, where no one could see her. She couldn't sleep because of the fear of being in an unfamiliar location. It was 10 p.m. and there was still no movement. She thought she wouldn't be lucky, as it was that time Bola had said he saw her come out, yet she wasn't out. 30 minutes later, Madame Gold stepped out of her home and left, heading somewhere. Tolu waited for her to go a bit further before she started trailing her. She kept following Madame Gold until she got to a spot, and then, right before her very eyes, she disappeared. When she was close to the market, Tolu rubbed her eyes to be sure she saw correctly, but there was nothing. She was frightened and hurriedly left the place to go home. She couldn't sleep well that night. What she saw was too much for her eyes. Meanwhile, Shade's husband and Tolu spoke. when she gave him the update. They decided to lock Shade up in the house, not allowing her to go out until the matter was settled. Tolu was running out of time to solve this mystery, and the 1 week was almost up. Tolu went to the market to buy something while praying for a miracle. There, she heard 2 ladies talking about how they would come to a market they had cleaned up, only to find it in a mess the next morning. One suggested, "It's just I don't want to trouble them. If not, I would use dog pee to rinse my face and see them." Tolu was shocked at what she had heard and thought this might be a breakthrough she had been looking for. She noted the women who were discussing, but not wanting to be nosy, listened to them and left. She got pee from her neighbor's door, determined to find the root of this matter. As usual, she left her home and trailed Madame Gold to the market. When she got there, as usual, Madame Gold disappeared. Tolu brought out the dog pee and used it to rinse her face. When she opened her eyes, she saw nothing still. She was puzzled and thought she did it wrong. She rinsed her face with the pee again, but still nothing. Not wanting to be caught, she left the market, went home, cleaned her face and wondered if she hadn't heard those women correctly. She decided that tomorrow she would visit the market and ask proper questions. Tolu went to the market the following day, and when she got there, she met the woman she marked her face and started a conversation with her, asking questions. Tolu asked the woman if people could see ghosts. The woman replied, "Well, yes, you can, if you know where they are mostly gathered." Tolu inquired further, asking how she could see the ghost. The woman said, "You have to use dog pee to wash your eyes, then go back to the location while spreading your legs and looking in between them. Then you can see them." She thanked the woman and decided to make her way home. Kehinde had asked her how far she had come. Tolu said she had gotten a breakthrough. Kehinde told her she would come to the house so they would go together, and they agreed. As usual, Tolu left the house with Kehinde to the usual spot. They were very quiet as it was still night. When Madame Gold came out and left for the market, they trailed her quietly. When they got to the usual spot, she disappeared. Kehinde almost shouted, but Tolu held her mouth so she wouldn't disclose their location. Tolu brought out the dog pee, asking Kehinde if she wanted to rinse her face, but she declined. Tolu rinsed her face, back to the market, and put her face in between her legs, thereby seeing things upside down. When she opened her eyes, what she saw marveled her, and she almost shouted. She saw Madame Gold and other spirits, some even headless. She got up, and the way Tolu picked up her slippers and ran home, you would think someone was after her life. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's continue with the story. Kehinde called out to her friend, but Tolu was long gone. Kehinde followed after her. Tolu stopped in front of her house, panting. Not long after, Kehinde caught up with her. She asked what had happened, and Tolu replied, "It's true what Bola said. Madame Gold is a spirit." They were very shocked by this encounter and wondered how they would come up with a plan to bring Shade back to normal. They plotted how they would handle Madame Gold and left for their homes. Tolu kept remembering what she saw in the market. The next morning, Tolu and Kehinde met up to discuss their plans. They knew they had to act quickly before Shade was completely lost to Madame Gold's influence. With the knowledge they had gained, they felt prepared to face the jeweler. They returned to Madame Gold's shop, this time with a purpose. Tolu carried with her a white handkerchief soaked in dog pee, something Bola had advised might happen in confronting the supernatural. When they arrived, Madame Gold was busy with customers, but Tolu and Kehinde waited patiently until she was alone. When the shop cleared out, they approached her. Madame Gold eyed them suspiciously.
"What do you want?"
She asked, her voice dripping with disdain. Tolu stepped forward, her voice steady.
"We know what you are, and we are here to make you release your hold on Shade."
Madame Gold asked what she meant. Tolu came closer to Madame Gold and said,
She knew that she was a spirit and would expose her if she wasn't careful.
Madame Gold laughed at them and told them to do their worst. Tolu and Kehinde looked at each other. Then Tolu brought out a white handkerchief. Madame Gold was a little rattled. Tolu told her,
The contents of this white handkerchief adopi, and a mixture of white substance given to us by a native man who said that any spirit it touches will disappear and never return.
For the first time, Madame Goat's confident demeanor flattered. She glanced nervously at the handkerchief, clearly unsettled by their threat.
Fine,
She hissed.
I'll raise her up. But know this, you're meddling in things beyond your understanding.
She reached into her drawer and pulled out a small, intricate carved cowrie shell.
Place this on Sade's head and she'll be free. But be warned, once you've made use of it, you must discard all jewelry bought from me, or the cost will linger.
Tolu and Kehinde exchanged glances before taking the cowrie shell. They had achieved their goal, but the tension between them and Madame Gold was palpable. After they left the shop, Tolu couldn't help but feel a shiver run down her spine. They had won, but at what cost? Madame Gold was clearly more dangerous than they had imagined, and Tolu knew this wasn't the end. That evening, Tolu and Kehinde went straight to Sade's home. Kola was there, anxiously waiting for news. They explained everything, and though he was skeptical, Kola agreed to go along with the plan. They placed the cowrie shell on Sade's head, and within a moment, she blinked, her eyes clearing off, as if waking up from a deep sleep.
What? What am I doing here?
She asked, confused. Relief washed over the group. Sade was back. Tolu hugged her friend tightly, tears of joy streaming down her face.
You're okay, Shadi, you're okay.
Kola too was overwhelmed with emotion. He thanked Kehinde and Tolu profusely, promising to take better care of Sade and keep her away from anything that might harm her. In the days that followed, Sade began to recover, her obsession with jewelry fading as the curse was lifted. She discarded all jewelry she had bought from Madame Gold, just as Tolu had suggested. And slowly, life returned to normal. Tolu resumed her work with a clear mind, and the wedding preparations continued smoothly. Sade and Kola's wedding was a grand affair, filled with joy and celebration. As for Bola, he and Tolu grew closer, finding comfort in each other's company as they reflected on everything they had been through. Madame Gold, however, was not seen again. Shortly after the confrontation, she quietly relocated, leaving behind her shop and all its dark secrets. It seemed that from now, the danger had passed, but Tolu would never forget the lessons she had learned. Lessons to be learned from this story are: be cautious of what you desire, as it may lead you down dangerous paths. True friendship is standing by someone even in their darkest moments. Sometimes the supernatural world is closer than we think, and it's essential to trust your instincts.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us, turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story, like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.